All right, welcome back to Fleccas Talks, a podcast, episode 215. Today on the show, it's a victory lap episode. We won. We're going to tell you how it happened. We're going to tell you what happens next. We're going to show you all the leftist meltdowns now that it's happened. And we're also going to go over some of the discrepancies between this election and 2020. All this and more, it's Fleccas Talks, a podcast, episode 215, ranked the best new podcast of all time.
Because words are just words until action actually starts. And actions speak louder than words. But at the same time, words speak louder than actions because sometimes it's the right thing to do. Very cool. Very cool.
It's Fleccas Talks, the podcast featuring Richard and RATBOY.
All right, 1 for 1 on the intro, as always. Guys, our country witnessed a moment we'll never forget. We saw a man get shot on stage, rise up, fist in the air, and in defiance scream, "Fight." Sadly, a lot of us have lost our fight, and that's exactly how the globalists want it. They want us weak, out of shape, and full of estrogen and microplastics. This is why we're excited to partner with CHOQ. CHOQ offers a whole lineup of products formulated to increase your energy, focus, detoxify your body, and boost your testosterone. The ingredients in CHOQ's Male Vitality Stack have been clinically studied to boost free testosterone by 87% in just 21 days. Unlike the gimmicky vegetable pills or powder, you will feel the difference, and they have clinical studies to back it up. And right now, you can get 25% off of your CHOQ subscriptions for life. Just go to CHOQ.com, CHOQ.com, and use promo code Fleccas at checkout. 25% off of your subscription for life. You can cancel at any time. CHOQ is made in America, and their all-American customer service team is standing by to assist you. It's time to make men's vitality great again. Get CHOQ today. CHOQ.com is the website. Fleccas is the promo code. Go there now. They support the show. Let's support them right back. You can also call or text them at 50 CHOQ 3000. That's 50 CHOQ 3000. Thank you to sponsoring. Now let's get into housekeeping. All right, thank you to CHOQ for sponsoring.
Thank you, CHOQ.
I'm a big fan of CHOQ. I've been doing their Male Vitality Stack, and I just finished my first round, and I got on a subscription, and I used the code Fleccas for 20% off the subscription.
There you go.
It's pretty good. It's good living. Guys, it's over.
We did it.
We did it. It's over. We won. Feels good. We have a real victory lap episode in front of us. It's all going to be basically one long housekeeping. So if you're looking for cringe, urban, and uplifting, that'll be in bonus land. Today is going to be pure election episode.
Feels good. And we've obviously been culminating to this point, and to get vindicated in not only a win, but a landslide win, popular vote win. It feels really good. And the bad guys don't always win. Is basically the gist of it, right? That's
the big gist. And I'm going to say something that I think a lot of people are thinking. Mm-hmm. I'm going to just say what I know we're all thinking.
Okay.
Fuck Jimmy Carter.
Old piece of shit.
They're going to
old ass bitch.
They're going to put him down for what he did. Wow. Yeah, everyone. Yeah, Jimmy Carter, man. That was the biggest miss of all time.
They really puppeted him out there thinking, what, he's going to move the needle in Georgia, not even a swing state anymore. It's gone. It's out of your grasp.
He's toast.
Yeah.
And before we get into the show, I want to do a little contextualizing.
Okay.
Put this whole thing in perspective. Act 1, Trump wins. Mm-hmm. Act 2, the election and Trump loses.
Yep.
Act 3, we return to power. It's the hero's journey, guys. Mm-hmm. It's scripted.
Near assassination? Yeah. So did we even vote? What happened? Was it scripted completely, or what? Is the schizo last page of housekeeping already? Or
no,
I'm just saying life is kind of like a movie, and it trends towards movies.
We naturally follow the hero's journey.
Yeah.
That exists in all aspects of our lives, and this whole thing we just went through, we're in Act 3, which is the good part, but it's also heavy action.
Yeah.
So let's get into it.
Okay.
Let's get into what happened. Well, we have a lot of clips. We have a lot of data. We have a lot of meltdowns, a lot of housekeeping. It's all housekeeping. Let's start with Stephen Colbert.
So many of us wish this hadn't happened, but that is not for us to decide. This is a democracy. That's democracy with a capital duh. And in this democracy, the majority has spoken, and they said they don't care that much about democracy.
So it's called losing the popular vote.
Yeah, sorry, Stephen Colbert. Or is it Jimmy Kimmel? I forget. I can't even distinguish between you two fucking idiots.
It's all the same perspectives. But it's called losing the popular vote, and I think they probably had a plan for losing the Electoral College but winning the popular vote and then complaining about the Electoral College and protesting and saying it's not a real democracy. Mm-hmm. But they just got blown out, and I think all of their post-election plans are kind of on the back burner now.
Yeah, the writer's room is just a bunch of Harvard grads scratching their head who obviously vote 99% Democrat, and they go, so we lost that popular vote thing. So I guess it's just not democracy anymore, even though it was the biggest Democratic event of the last 4 years, right? So they scramble, and they don't really know the duh joke made it out of the writer's room. So that shows you kind of how desperate they are. And Jimmy Kimmel cried.
Jimmy Kimmel cried as well. That's where they're at. And then remember they used that lime green color, and we have this thing here. It says losing the popular vote, and everything was brat. Yeah. Remember Kamala is brat? It's pronounced brat now.
It's brat. Dick Cheney is brat. And yeah, this was like some singer. The Joy, the Brat, they've really switched back and forth between them too. They had no central message. And, are we going to talk about like Kamala running Kamala into the buzzsaw? Was it her own fault? Did they just run her into the buzzsaw? She had 100 days. She didn't have to campaign for that long. So, I mean, it feels like I'm almost at a point after the election where, you're dead, you're gone, we don't have to deal with you anymore. But I almost feel a little sorry for her as a person. She got shoehorned into a shitty situation and was stupid.
Yeah, she was stupid. I agree with you there. I can't feel bad for anyone yet. Not there yet.
Okay.
But I do wonder how the Democrats didn't see this coming, but there were clues. For example, Biden-Harris deliver more migrants than jobs in October. There were clues.
You're reading the tea leaves and you're seeing, and it's like, is that an average headline indicative of this administration? Yes, it is. So
those were little clues left for people paying attention. And everyone's wondering, what happened? How did this all go down like this? Here's what happened. Men got in line and they voted.
Men got in line, voted, and they go, how did I feel the last 4 years? How's my wallet the last 4 years? How's inflation the last 4 years? And how are these people making me feel? Like shit. Like I'm a forgotten person. They want to invite all the trans people to the White House and invite we got to lift up black women or something. And you're just a white guy in Minnesota or Wisconsin or Pennsylvania, and you're going, guess I'm showing up to the polls today. I'll take the 20 minutes, right?
Exactly. Everyone was prioritized except Americans. It's all migrants. It's all DEI and people who are disenfranchised and oppressed in this made-up world of oppression. Let's go over some of the stats. Let's break it down by race and gender. We have it here.
Where do you want to start? White men, 59% voted for Trump.
There you go. White women, even 52%. Which everyone was saying how it's going to come down to women. Women are going to, do it for Kamala. Thank you, white women. Some of you are normal.
Yeah, shout out to white women. And then I was going to say, especially most of what you see on social media with the screeching white girl leftist stuff, it's like, that college-educated yelling for abortion. That's white girls.
Yeah.
And then there's white ladies.
Girls versus ladies, big difference.
And ladies, I think, are the ones who brought this over the 50% threshold. You know what I mean?
So too. And then we did well everywhere else too. Black men, 20% for Trump, which doesn't sound like a lot, but compared to past numbers, that's a good performance. Latino men, 54%.
Gracias. Gracias, senores.
Gracias, senores is right. So, there was just a over representation across the board. It wasn't just a specific group. Everyone performed better compared to previous elections.
And I'm seeing a lot of infighting as well on Twitter. White people, we've been a punching bag for the minority Twitter loud leftist group forever. We're used to it. We don't care. It's your punches don't land anymore. I saw a lot of black women getting mad at Latino men now. And they're like, what the hell? You racist too?
Yeah.
So they're in the next group to be fully slandered. And also in their mind, in the mind of a leftist black woman who's really mad and posting videos on social media, they kind of go, I want you to get deported too. They have no mental model for non-illegal Latinos. And it's just a very weird thing and kind of showing a little racist reaction, I would say.
Yeah, we're going to get to all that in the meltdown section. But with this race, it kind of came down to delusional women, weak men, and homosexuals versus like normal people. That was the big takeaway. Remember this clip from a couple weeks or a few weeks ago?
We're gonna win. We're gonna win. I mean, not to be, cocky, but I'm optimistic.
Feels good.
Feels good to shut that whatever the hell up.
Yep. And then remember Kamala a few months ago, early in the, maybe this was before she even announced, but this was just her point of view about being woke.
We have to stay woke. Like, everybody needs to be woke. And you can talk about if you're the wokest or woker, but just stay more woke than less woke. Yeah.
Well, I guess people didn't like that either.
Yeah, that garnered 0 votes. And the laughing at your own joke that's not even a joke is crazy and kind of goes to show what was going on in her brain. Really nothing.
Exactly. And then someone had a funny tweet, too, that said, maybe parking a human sacrifice truck outside the DNC was bad PR.
Yeah, bad PR, bad campaign decision. I feel like we've got it right for the most part. Like the fact that it was all going to come down to men and white women, actually, more so than we ever said. But they made it a single issue election about abortion when there's so many other things going on, and that backfired spectacularly. It just blew up in their face, and it's good to see that analysis actually work and it not be able to manipulate people. They were telling people to lie to your husband at the voting booth in your American flag hat. And that just fucking, nobody does that.
They had no real message, nothing concrete. They just got people motivated to vote for someone because they were kind of black. And then the people who were voting were also emotionally manipulated into thinking it's about abortion and racism.
Yeah.
And then normal people just said, okay, I want a secure border. I want lower taxes. I want less regulations. I want more freedom. I want criminals to go to jail if they break the law. It wasn't even a hard decision. And we're going to get to this in a little bit, but I think a huge difference is the Democrats they think it's all about abortion and all these emotional issues. For our path to victory, it was literally about filming the people collecting the votes and counting the votes. That was our number one way to solidify a victory. It wasn't to beat policy or ideas or whatever. It was literally to film the voting process.
Making sure a Republican was in the room while these fat women were counting votes, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then we saw this rejection of the woke stuff across the board, especially in California. Can you read the vote on penalizing people who break the law?
Yeah, California had a Proposition 36, which increases penalties for certain theft and drug crimes. The ballot measure would increase penalties for repeated theft offenses and certain drug crimes, including some involving fentanyl. It would also create a drug court treatment program for people with multiple drug possession convictions. 70% voted. Well, actually, this picture was taken when only half the votes have been reported, but they overwhelmingly voted yes on this.
Yeah.
The state of California went more red than 2020, and the state of California kind of said, guys, we really do have enough with being the joke. Urban decay sucks now. Urban decay is going to get dark now. We're going to have to we're going to be searching, hunting videos. But California broadly rejected the status quo and the controlled decline of their state. And we saw that across every major metro area.
The whole state, if you look at this next picture, the green, it's all green. Everyone rejected it.
And we saw some similar stuff in Cook County, like Chicago, everywhere. Every major metropolitan area went way more towards Trump. This was obviously a specific prop in California, but it's just good to see, everywhere. The Democrats truly blew it so bad that they were, losing votes in their biggest strongholds. So,
and the part of those votes that were lost were in the swing states. Trump won every swing state, even though he was outspent in every swing state. We have the graph here.
Yeah.
Obviously, blue is what Kamala spent. Red's what Trump spent a lot in Pennsylvania. But everywhere else, they kind of just went off of vibes and the message being strong enough. They didn't need to convince anyone with any sort of spending.
yeah.
And then we have a meme
Which,
here.
maybe should we have spent a little more? Obviously now, no. But like seeing you're getting outspent by that kind of makes me be like, guys, are we positive? How's the internal polling looking?
And
right?
Kamala's team spent like $1 billion, and now they're $20 million in debt. And there's a lot of people who haven't gotten paid yet, so it's going to get a little weird for them.
Yeah, going in debt to lose an election is like that car where it's like 500 down, 750 for 48 months.
Oh, we'll get this all sorted once we're in office.
Yeah.
And now it's like, well, you owe me back pay, and we lost, and Kamala's not answering her phone anymore.
Yeah, it's that movie. It's that movie where it's like the stock pump and dump thing, and then the office is gone one day. You come in and there's just the plugs for the phones.
And then there was a meme, a good meme from Batman, a multi-billion-dollar propaganda machine, some autistic meme boys. That really is what did it. Alternative media did it. Independent media did it. Twitter, X did it.
And I stand by the fact that the consistent message that we've been saying is like the work had already been done. Like we've already posted all the videos of the illegal migrants, people catching migrants going on flights within the United States, all that stuff. Like the Democrats way overplayed their hand, and you can't spend money in Michigan to make people forget about that 2 weeks before the election, right?
Exactly. And there was a big divide, and I think the Democrats are starting to realize it a little bit when it comes to college-educated people versus non-college educated. Can you play this clip from MSNBC?
I think when it's all said and done, what you're going to see is a huge divide over people who are college educated and not college educated. And if that is the case, what is different is that you could be seeing a realignment about the base of each party. And there are warning signs for everybody here. But if the working class, non-college educated voter is now increasingly a Republican voter, Democrats have to rethink the way in which they sell their policies that absolutely benefit working class Americans and in a targeted
that's
fashion.
Interesting. I guess in college they don't teach you that releasing criminals and bringing in millions of people from third world countries on taxpayer dollars isn't a good idea.
Is that a college level course? Is that 101, or is that a high level? Is that like a survey or a deep end, a PhD level class? Retarded. You know, they want to divide. They want to slice the data and look at all these groups. And it's like, do something with any ounce of common sense. And like they could have had a chance. That's the whole thing. I think they just went way too far, both with what they thought they could get away with and then not correcting it at all, you know? And it doesn't take a college guy to see, oh, they're giving all my money to some guy who just got here. It's a joke, you know? And I actually like being one of the college, you know, we're obviously college people, but going against it, you know, you don't have to, it doesn't take a genius to see this. Something ain't right.
It doesn't take a genius is absolutely right. It's very much common sense based, but The View and Morning Joe are now making they're extrapolating their own conclusions here as to why the Latinos voted for Trump. And here's their best ideas.
I just say, Rev, really quickly, too. Democrats need to be mature, and they need to be honest. And they need to say, yes, there's misogyny. But it's not just misogyny from white men. It's misogyny from Hispanic men. Right. It's misogyny from black men, things we've all been talking about, who do not want a woman leading them.
Oh, so everyone hates ladies.
They had a chance to do like the correct thing and be like, wow, maybe us talking about misogyny constantly was actually a turnoff. And instead they doubled down and said, the Latinos too. The Latinos did it too.
It's not just white guys who are misogynistic.
And this is the dream, right? It's the dream is to go against an opponent who never learns a lesson and keeps doubling down on their mistakes. Like Sun Tzu never, or maybe it's not even him, but like never interrupt an opponent when they were making a mistake, right? And it's just like, guys, keep this up, man. I really want to see this same energy for 2028. Misogyny, racism, nothing tangible, all nebulous little topics that like make a woman feel a certain way. And, you know, good luck, Morning Joe.
And then The View had the same take, that Latinos didn't vote for Kamala because of misogyny.
Finally, we talk a lot about these different demographics and these assumptions of where they're going to go. Latinos in Texas, a district that's 97% Latino, went 75 percentage points for Donald Trump. Why?
Misogyny.
It's on the border.
It's
the border
misogyny.
crisis is on their doorstep.
So
and they were begging.
It's misogyny. She's like, no, they literally live on the border. They don't want illegals coming here, even though they're Latino. They recognize a border is important, and Whoopi Goldberg's going misogyny.
That's crazy. And you know what? There was another guy on CNN who did a similar thing. Like, this is a mandate. Donald Trump, winning the popular vote, all this stuff. You should take a moment to reflect and be like, wow, we really need a hard look at ourselves. We got blown out. Like, do we need a new coach? Is the offense doing anything important? And these rational people within the left who are really trying to learn or maybe relate or see where they lost are being outshined by the people like Whoopi Goldberg and Morning Joe who are yelling misogyny. And I love to see it, I love to see it. It's a lot better. It's a losing strategy. And if you got a bunch of people yelling to say, run the play again, the play just got stuffed for a 7-yard sack. And it's like, run it again. I'm like, please do. Please do. So,
and there was some good memes about exactly this, too. There's like a Simpsons meme.
Yeah. Am I out of touch? No, it's the Latinos who are racist.
And then we have the Charlottesville people with sombreros on now.
That's what it is.
That's what they think is going on.
And it's so funny because the whole point is this election was definitely somewhat of a white lash. Remember? White rage, white lash. I want to use their terms now because white voters came out and said, you guys are doing nothing for us but demonizing us. And then another group moved towards us as well. And now they're going to give them the exact same treatment. It's so dumb. And there's no sensible people in the party who are kind of reining this in. And we're going to get to the social media people later. Those are the real manic ones. These people are in suits on TV, like hitting lines,
making millions of dollars a year.
Exactly. I get it. Some of the manic people on Twitter who think Republicans in the room with them stopping an abortion now, they're going to go crazy. But the people, I guess I'm giving The View too much credit too in this assessment.
Well, next we have a clip of one of those manic Democrats on social media kind of showing their true colors now that Latinos broke away from the plantation.
I might get some violations and I may offend some people with what I'm going to say, and I don't give a fuck. To all you Latinos that voted for Trump, I hope he mass deports you and your entire family, whether you were here legally or not. You gotta go.
Deports your, and we're not saying that. We're saying if you're here illegally, you're out.
Yeah.
If you're here illegally, you're in. She's saying everybody and your whole family, you gotta go. That's hateful rhetoric, brother.
That's crazy. What's the IQ on this one? 90? 88?
80s, high 80s.
Okay. All right.
Which is, that's a B+.
No, it's not. That's dumb as fuck.
Out of 100. Oh, it's pretty good.
Out of 100. That's how you just exposed yourself.
Yeah. And then we do have, which I really liked about this, is how blindsided, obviously, the Democrats were. Harry Sisson, one of our favorite twinks. Can you read the before and after?
He said, Kamala Harris is going to win, and women are going to be a big reason why. Republicans aren't going to be ready for it. And then, obviously, after the results came in, it's really depressing to see how many people voted for the felon, rapist, fraudster who lies constantly. Many Americans failed their fellow Americans tonight.
That's what I like. I like that one side got blindsided, and then the other side got it completely right.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna sit here and say I thought it was a lock and we had it in the bag, but anecdotally speaking, talking to neighbors, people in your life, knowing independents who kind of weren't for Trump before but were tired of this. This is again another case of the anecdotal evidence being more important than data and scientists and crunching numbers. If you felt the vibe, people, I think we got a chance. I didn't think it was going to be such a blowout every swing state,
But it really came down to the procedural stuff.
Yeah.
We knew we beat him on ideas. We knew we beat him on populism and what the people want. It's just a matter of how many votes are they going to send through the machine. And we're going to get the discrepancy section shortly.
But pollsters too, the anecdotal versus pollsters. Nate Silver, who's supposed to be this great pollster, said, I ran 80,000 simulations and basically it was 50-50 for both candidates every time. So nobody made a strong case. There was that woman who we talked about on the last episode who had that Iowa poll where Harris was going to win +3. Dead wrong. She got destroyed in Iowa. So it's funny. The anecdotal evidence wins again, and people like Harry Sisson were too deep in a bubble to be paying attention to anecdotal shit.
Exactly. Which takes us to our next section, the discrepancies between this election and 2020. Let's start with just Kamala's performance. Jake Tapper was shocked when he heard how she was doing compared to 2020.
Are there any places that the vice president is overperforming Joe Biden in 2020? So we could show you that as well. We just bring that out here. Harris overperforming 2020.
Holy smokes.
There you go. So let this go away and see if there's anything on the east side there.
Literally nothing?
Literally nothing.
Literally not one county?
By 3% or more.
Wow, that's so weird. I thought there was record turnout.
Yeah, I thought it was the most important election of our lives, right, guys?
Crazy that works like that. And let's look at the graph here of 2020 versus 2024. Obviously, blue is Democrat, red is Republican. And it looks like, if you remove 2020, it looks like the Democrats are in line every election, but around how many million?
65 million.
65 million votes for every election. And then I guess in 2020, everyone was really excited about Joe Biden and loves Joe Biden.
Yeah, that COVID 2020 mail-in ballot party where he sneakily won at 3 a.m. in every swing state exactly that he needed. That was the year where 81 million people voted.
So they got 15 or almost 20 million more votes in 2020, which is weird. Then we have it here. We have it written out. In 2016, 65 million Democrats voted. 2020, 81 million. 2024, 65 million again.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And then the bellwether counties, which has been a pretty accurate indicator, if whoever wins most of the 17 bellwether counties in the last 10 cycles basically wins the election. That's been consistent, as you can see here. But in 2020, Trump won 16 out of 17, but somehow managed to lose. And then we're back to it again in 2024. He wins 15 out of 17 and he wins.
Yeah.
Crazy how they pulled that off in 2020.
Yeah, it must have been a fluke. People love Joe Biden. Even the bellwether guys love Joe Biden. Yeah. And that's supposed to be like a leading indicator. That's kind of like how you find fraud. You know, if you were an accounting firm or something, you'd go, oh, something ain't right. I better dig deeper into this. But of course, it's the 2020 election and questioning it is what? Illegal, against the law?
Yeah, they actually arrested people for doing it.
And yeah, Rudy Giuliani had to give his penthouse to some woman in Georgia or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't that happen?
And his nice stuff, his collector's items.
Yeah.
All that stuff. And there's someone who had a good tweet that sums it up too.
Dear POTUS, there are 20 million votes missing. No way there were 20 million fewer votes than 2020 with a massive 25 million surge in voter registration and record turnout. No way. That's a leftist who's doing it go a step further.
You're close. Yeah. You have it.
And it's been long-term held belief of this podcast that, 81 million votes went through the machines. That's what we've always said. We always believed you on that. We just didn't believe 81 million people went out and voted and wrote the stuff in for Joe Biden.
Exactly. And then let's look at Florida, too. Obviously, a lot of people moved to Florida during COVID, but also Florida had stricter voting rules once DeSantis got into power. And it used to be a swing state, remember?
Yeah.
Now it's a deep red state. It's weird how that works.
Yeah. Florida won by 10 points, basically.
Yeah.
Statewide.
So it's easy to see what's going on. Obviously, if we had lost that election, they would have given amnesty to all the illegals who would be voting Democrat forever. We'd never win another election again. Now that we won, we're probably going to get safer, more accurate elections from here on out. So our chances of winning elections going forward is a lot higher.
Yeah, and we were ready this time. I mean, I think you can sneak one crazy, sketchy 2020 election in there. You can kind of get away with that one time if your enemy is on their heels and kind of like, what happened? I'm reacting. But the Republican Party this year was much more proactive, and it just kind of, you couldn't do it right under our nose, right?
Exactly. The lawyers were ready. Suing was happening all the time, and the poll watchers were everywhere, and the swing states didn't happen again.
Yep.
There is an Elon video from a Joe Rogan podcast. Listen to what he says. It's basically what we just said, but wait till you hear Hassan Piker's reaction to this statement.
If the Dems win this election, they will legalize enough illegals to turn the swing states, and everywhere will be like California. There will be no escape.
That is so insane.
This is the final. This is it. This is the last chance.
Has anybody tried to push back?
And I just want to go out and vote.
So that, pretty basic statement. It's very easy to see. There's all these illegals here in swing states. Why? We don't need them. We don't want them. Oh, there's some nefarious plan. And then look at Hassan Piker's reply to that clip.
How the fuck do you even begin to combat this degree of misinformation? This is the wealthiest guy on the planet who gets billions in government subsidies openly lying about immigrants and the Dems on the #1 podcast days before the election.
Whoa, what's it misinformation about that?
I know. Are there illegal immigrants in swing states? Yes or no? And it's like a resounding yes. Have their numbers increased crazily? Obviously, yes. We showed the chart a couple weeks ago, the percentage increase in swing states. And it was like 400%, 500%, 300%. The only thing is Democrats haven't gotten behind a podium and said, yes, we're putting these guys in the swing state to increase our control.
But Hassan frames it as like nice versus mean.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy's mean. He hates immigrants. And it's just like, no, we understand their game plan. They're doing it. They're pretty much close to executing it and finishing the job. And we just stopped it in the nick of time.
Yeah.
But, these guys hate immigrants. They're mean.
Yeah. Also, just sidebar in terms of election watching and watching the votes roll in and kind of Trump, North Carolina was kind of the first swing state to fall. North Carolina got called for Trump, and then there was some Georgia numbers that were coming in where a lot got reported, and it was looking really good for Trump in Georgia, and obviously we know he won. But there was a point at like 8:45, 9 p.m., where leftist accounts and leftist Twitter people just went like,
they got quiet.
I'm going to go for a walk and like saying shit like that. And then just someone like it last tweeted 3 days ago. So there's both the people who get manic at it and then the people who just go shell shocked. So it was very funny and nice to see.
Yep. And then Hassan had another tweet, which, it sums it up, but I'll tell you after.
I don't think it's healthy for a nation to be held hostage by the hallucinations of a rabid cult that lives an entirely separate reality.
That's exactly right.
That's you, though.
You got the whole thing backwards, but you're absolutely right. You nailed it. You're just completely upside down, but you nailed it. That's exactly right. So now we're moving into our meltdown section, our social media meltdown section. Before we get there, make sure you guys help us tickle the post, juice the algo, leave a like, leave a comment again, then start yapping. P.O. Box needs to be full. Notifications need to be on. Old episodes need to be watched, and you need to go vote, which you did.
Yeah, nobody needs to do anything. That's one less chore, guys. Yeah. Feels good.
Just get yapping in the comments. You don't need to go anywhere. All right. So our first clip of the meltdown section is going to be kind of just some cringe clips of people being told as a man to vote for Kamala because their girlfriend's going to make them or because their girlfriend's going to be sad if they don't. And we have Cory Booker who kind of echoes that message.
Women are doing it. They're outvoting men. They're voted greater numbers. They're leading, I think, households in many ways. I've seen already experiences where I have guys come up to me and say, I really have no choice. My girlfriend will kill me. My wife will kill me if I don't vote for Kamala Harris.
Oh, my girlfriend will kill me. My wife will kill me. We have more clips of this, too. This next guy had the same sentiment.
I vow to vote for the socially thoughtful candidate, even if it costs us a significantly larger amount of our take-home income.
Oh, he's a good boy.
Yeah.
You listen to someone on SSRIs and birth control.
And so the Kamala ad, that's who's leading your family, brother. You're strong. The Kamala ad was all about some guy going, hey, honey, what are you doing? Or you made the right choice, right, honey? And she secretly voted for Kamala Harris. The reality is women are like trying to domineer normal guys and to bully them into making abortion the number one issue or something. And it just didn't make any sense. And it shows how little power they actually had for the fact that men turned out so strong, right?
Exactly.
And then if you're a screeching single woman who's like yelling on the internet, we're going to get to some of those momentarily. But it's like you can convince even less people. You know what I mean? It's one thing to kind of pressure your spouse and, honey, I think this is best for us. And the girl shouldn't be leading that period. But it's another thing to be yelling at the internet and a guy scrolls through and goes, ha! And he just scrolls past your shit, right?
Yeah. And then next we have a guy who's got the same thing going on, clearly pressured by his wife. But listen to what he says about why he chose Kamala when it comes to his daughters.
Who did you vote for today?
I voted for Kamala Harris.
Why is that?
I have 3 daughters, 4 children overall, and women's rights is pretty important to them and my daughters. Sorry, I'm getting a little emotional about that. I didn't think that I was going to do that, but he's
got to give the babies back. Him and Dave Rubin.
I think he had kids, but he's crying about his daughter's ability to kill his grandchildren is what his thing is.
He's clearly homosexual, and under Project 2025,
those will be revoked. Those children will be revoked.
We're sending those kids back.
Yeah.
And we're going to kind of do a little speed round here. This is just people having meltdowns and crying. We have Tim Waltz and Doug Emhoff and the other one crying.
We'll never have to see that daughter again.
Yep, she's toast. She's nobody now. Jimmy Kimmel's got a little emotional, too, on his show.
Let's be honest. It was a terrible night last night. It was a terrible night for women, for children, for the hundreds of thousands of hardworking immigrants who make this country go. For healthcare.
You pussy! He's crying! Oh, for women, children. Children are fine, dude.
Yeah.
Children have nothing to do with your plan. I don't think you ever did anything for children.
It's actually going to be more children.
Yeah. Americans. He doesn't mention Americans. He just carves out little people that the Democrats made special secret promises to. And he goes, oh, life's going to be so hard for them now. Whereas Republican policies are just like, let's lift up the entire boat, right?
Yeah, let's give everyone more freedom, less regulation, make up their own decisions, their ability to self-govern their lives.
Yeah.
Democrats don't like that. They want government to be a daddy.
Not only do Democrats not like that, they'll cry over it, like Jimmy Kimmel.
And this next lady.
Sorry. No!
Feels good.
So good. And, you know, I want to make a point here. Well, actually, let's read this tweet next, right? Don't ever ask black women to do anything again. Don't ever rely on us anymore to fix it. Black women be working overtime again and again, and this is the thanks we get? Yeah, don't expect nothing from us no mo.
I thought we were the ones giving you stuff.
I thought you guys are a net drain on taxpayers. And also, in terms of Republican governance, like there should never, ever, ever be a policy that specifically helps black women. We lose 90-10 every fucking time. So there's basically no reason to try to reach out or flip them or anything. You know?
We'll just help Americans.
The ones of you who are Republican, and I know there's probably several black women who watch this show, and it's like, you're good, you're chilling, but like we're just not carving out special privileges for the rest of them. 90-10, it's not worth our time, right?
Yeah.
So crazy reaction from some of the black women. And then they're like getting mad. They're lashing out at the white women, and they're lashing out at Latinos and everything. It's very fun.
Yeah, and here we have a little compilation of a bunch of them put together. Feels good. It feels good. And we have some...
this could have been... We were close. We weren't close. The election was a blowout, but there would have been some equally mad right-wingers. But we don't cry on camera and film ourselves. We just like light a Colin Kaepernick jersey on fire or something.
Yeah. We wouldn't be
There's
crying.
some middle ground.
Exactly. We wouldn't be reacting like that. We'd be going, what's this person doing on this security camera with this duffel bag at 4 a.m. when they made all the poll watchers leave?
So true.
You know, we would just have evidence that would get put into the ether and then no one would ever do anything about. But we would just have like all these clips and stats and graphs where the votes go like that. Oh, in the middle of the night, Kamala Harris got 100,000 votes and Trump got 0.
Yeah, we'd be waking up to like, oh, your Twitter account Instagram account got deleted for sharing false information. Shit like that.
That's the difference in post-election turnout. And we have another Kamala rally from the night of the election. Here's some people crying. Yeah, that's when they're starting to realize what's going to happen.
The doubt's creeping in, and hey, man, the losing candidate election night party, there's no clear out quite as fast.
Mm-hmm.
And then we don't have any assets for it, but Kamala took the coward's way out. Trump knew he was winning the night of, obviously didn't speak until 3 a.m., but Kamala had a man come in and tell everybody she wasn't going to be speaking today.
She was too drunk, they said.
Yeah, but do you believe that? I mean, I believe it too, but
I just made it up.
There's no proof. There's no proof.
I just made it up. She was drinking.
All right.
This next one, let's play this, but we can't keep doing meltdowns, but there's a lot.
We may not have rights tomorrow, so I'm going to bed with the last bit of dignity that I have left.
Well, at least you got stupid tattoos.
Yeah, at least, I don't know, at least you got a vape or something. That's the type of person.
That's right.
And the thing is, the the fear mongering over abortion, like it worked to such an extent that they believe it. Trump is not doing anything. Trump has said he's not doing anything, and it's a state's issue. And Florida, I think, is the only state that's had an abortion on the ballot that didn't enshrine it somehow. So that's like the first one, and that's the state of Florida who did that. Let's do this. Are we trying to skip a few? Because we can't just watch people cry all day, even though it is fun and, you know.
But we can watch a few more people cry.
This one is important because I think there's two types, right? There's the I'm bawling, I'm a child, I believe a lie. And then there's the vindictive, like I'm a bitch, I'm about to start taking it out on family members. And this is one of the latter categories.
Yep.
So I finally cut off my dad this morning. My child is a little bit older now. I don't feel the same level of pressure to maintain a relationship with him for her sake. She can choose to have a relationship with him. I'm not going to dictate that. But I'm not going to anymore. And my mom was like, why are you choosing politics? And I reminded her that this is real life. I don't have access to full reproductive care in the state I live in, and neither does my teenage daughter because of Donald Trump. And that's just the tip of the fucking iceberg. I'm just tired. I'm tired of having to dance around issues as if they don't matter. As if they don't matter to me, because they do. So I'm just saying, if you need to cut somebody off, if you need to say some things, do it now. Do it today. Do it today while you're hurt and angry and have the courage. And
do it while you're emotionally ramped up.
Yeah, do it. Wait until the most emotional time of your life, then make a life-altering decision where your grandfather is not in your daughter's life anymore.
Smart.
Crazy. And then this is a person saying, like, her rights are gone. He's the president-elect. He got 2.5 months. Nothing happened so far. And it's like you ramp something up in your emotional mind, and now your dad's out of your life. Crazy. So, like, some hipster guy at a coffee shop is your friend now. You know, like these impossible to replace relationships. You think you can just throw it away because dad thinks Trump isn't that bad towards women, right? Mm-hmm. And it's just such a huge hole. How do you even possibly fill that? With some hipster doofus from a coffee shop who goes, yeah, we need abortion. I'm organizing.
Yeah, this girl's got hairy legs.
Yeah, I'm putting this poster up, and I have hairy legs. Want to go get an espresso with me? It doesn't make sense, and then you're obviously, the mania is affecting their children. So you want to go move on to this?
Which takes us to this next clip.
Yeah.
Harris did not win.
You won.
Trump. So I'm
take a breath.
Yep. So today may look a little different at school. Okay, there are probably going to be friends who have questions, right? I'm sure your teachers are going to, I think, we currently are in a country where we get to choose, right?
All right, I'm cutting her
And
off. It's a long-winded, stupid, slow-paced, super serious tone with like 7 or 8-year-olds. I don't know how old the kids
And they
are.
go, what happened? And they're just like crying. And then like mom's basically programming their nervous system in a very like negative, fear-based way.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was talking to MEMETIC SISYPHUS about this, and he made a good point. He said kids don't really know, they don't know emotions yet. Like they don't understand what they're feeling or even like how their emotions affect them. So a lot of times they'll mirror their parents' emotions out of like a safety mechanism.
Yeah.
And we actually have a video right here where it's kids playing with a snake, and because their parents aren't there scared, they're not scared of it, and look how they act.
The emotion of fear is a vital survival mechanism, designed to protect our bodies in a balance. A first line of defense against potential threats, even before they've struck.
The strange thing is, we're not born with it.
For the first few months of our lives, we're quite literally fearless. Our ability to identify things that can threaten our survival is something we learn from those around us. That's why some of our fears are rational.
So basically, you see, because the parents aren't in the room going like this and freaking out, like kids can see the eyes especially, and they can tell, like, they can react and understand emotion. And so if their parents are scared of something, then they too, they don't feel it themselves, but they know, oh, my mom's scared, this snake is bad. But when there's no parents around, it's just like a tube going around on the ground. They don't care.
Yeah, it's a little slinky tube rolling around. It looks pretty fun. And then this mom, like, she's telling kids, she goes, Harris did not win. And they're like, who won? You're like, it's a two-man race, idiot. Are you fucking stupid?
RFK.
Yeah. So if they don't even know that, but then you're going to ramp them up and send them to school. And then some bully at school is going to go, there's blood in the water. These two Muppets don't like what happened last night. And, you know, it's going to be a self-fulfilling thing.
And then the mom programs the kid in like a fear-based way. And then that's how you get kids with anxiety and who need SSRIs and Xanax.
And I have
just
a feeling,
like mom.
And I have a feeling mom's going to provide it. I have a feeling mom's going to get him to the psychiatrist early and often.
Yep, because you live in that anxiety household. It penetrates and percolates.
Yep. And then this one is another one of those, she didn't get manic, but she got vindictive. But I don't think the route she's choosing is actually going to be very effective. Let's see.
Donald Trump is president, and I think all women should stop having sex for the next 4 years. In protest and protection of your bodies. As we know, if that little baby inside you gives you any trouble and you need an emergency health care, you're fucked and you're gonna die.
Okay.
So sex strike because you can't immediately abort the baby.
So abortion is your birth control. Mm-hmm. So you better be more selective and go on a little sex strike or only have sex with people you'd be willing to raise a kid with because abortion's not going to be available, even though it is. Mm-hmm. But hey, at least you're kind of making progress.
Yeah, you're in Project 2025 now. You're not having, you're abstaining from sex and you're not having unprotected sex with strangers. That's great.
And there were some people on Twitter who took it even further. Can you read these replies and tweets?
Well, this is one of the girls saying, ladies, we need to start considering the 4B movement, like the women in South Korea, and give America a severely sharp birth rate decline. No marriage, no childbirth, no dating men, no sex with men. We can't let these men have the last laugh. And then somebody replies and goes, I fear if women do this, Trump might just make rape legal. I wish I was kidding. On God, I wish I was kidding. But he kind of has that power now. These people, my parody radar is crazy. Like that girl is threatening a sex strike. And it's like, okay, what's on your upper lip? This person thinks rape is going to be made legal by royal proclamation of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
It's a real fascinating world. And now I see some of the foot soldiers and I go, oh, that's who MSNBC is talking to. That's who Morning Joe is saying the Latinos are even more misogynist than we thought. I go, okay, yeah, they keep it going with that audience. But unfortunately, talking to that audience, they got ahead of their skis, like demographically speaking. They were speaking as if these people made up 75% of the population in America. They don't. It's the electorate is still like 77, I think, percent white in terms of voters who actually come and vote. And they got way ahead of their skis, and they're saying a message to a group of people who don't want to hear that message and are voting against it, right?
Exactly. And then our next section here, Joe Biden. They were, people are getting mad at Joe Biden, obviously, for dropping out and the things playing out the way it did. Mm-hmm. Someone said, I hope Joe Biden lives in shame of his horrific legacy. And then the meme is Joe Biden's thoughts. And it's just Mickey Mouse dancing on a boat.
I don't think about you at all.
Yeah, I don't think...
He's going, is there a pudding? Doesn't a pudding usually come with this? That's Joe Biden's thoughts.
And then people are also saying, inside sources from the White House, Joe Biden's lonely and lost final days in office. Netflix binges, quiet tears, and shunned by Kamala Harris's campaign.
Yeah, he's apparently taking Netflix recommendations from his grandchildren, and he's walking around in slippers and shit. He's just kind of like the ghost of the White House.
He's moping around.
Yeah, it's lame duck shit. And but we saw him earlier this week where he was announcing Trump's victory, and he was smiling. He looked bubbly. The stutter was gone.
Yeah, he's doing good. I think Jill voted for Trump.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a step too far for me, but
she wore the red.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our revenge section.
Okay.
Because, as you guys know, we can't just olive branch this and go, oh, now that we're in power, we're going to be normal or whatever.
Yeah, the unity thing, the call for unity happens within the right wing. It's not a unity with the people who are yelling about how Trump's going to make rape legal and stuff like that. Those you're proven not adults, right?
Exactly. And then if you're a Democrat and you're in that group, you should see the people saying the crazy shit and then separate yourselves. So the revenge is not everyone who voted Democrat.
No.
It's everyone who thinks the stupid ways that we just showed.
Yeah.
And there's actually, from Proverbs 20, a wise king winnows the wicked and drives the wheel over them. That's something I'm going to sit on for the next few days. You can't just say, oh, let's go back to being whatever. There's no going back. There's evil people and then there's normal people.
Yeah, you guys tried to stuff like 20 million third worlders into every important county in America to never give us power again. Like, that's what you tried to do. You tried to kill Trump. You
put Steve Bannon in jail.
Yeah, you put a lot of your political opponents in jail. You used lawfare on every person you could. Like, these aren't forgivable things for the political class. We're not talking about rank and file foot soldiers, but the political class people, General Milley, lawyer up. Some of you people need to seriously consult with a lawyer because when power turns, the whip comes to the other hand. I really hope we use it to an extent.
Yeah, we can't olive branch evil.
Yeah.
And we have Harry Sisson and his twinks here. They did a little TikTok. Here they are spinning around, looking cute. These are the guys who tried to shoot you in the back. Yeah. We're never going to forget. And then Harry Sisson had this tweet. Can you read it?
He said, Donald Trump has won the 2024 election. Congratulations to the Republicans and the Trump supporters. Be humble in victory, gracious in defeat. To Democrats, I'm proud of you. I'm thankful for you. I appreciate you. We'll get through this together. Be humble in victory and gracious in defeat. It's like, well, we're only experiencing one of those right now, brother. And I don't think I'm taking lessons from twinks.
Yeah, you put Steve Bannon in jail, brother.
Yeah.
We're never going to forget that. And Steve Bannon's going to be in the White House, and he's going to have a long list of things he wants to do, and he's going to do it.
Yeah.
And then also, while we're here, DeSantis people. RATBOY made a great point on Twitter the other day. He said, we do need a quick apology from the Trump can't win DeSantis people. Not a big deal, but we do need that.
Not a big deal, but just apologize. And this, again, this is not for the people who like DeSantis. We live in Florida. We love DeSantis. This is not for the people who thought, well, maybe DeSantis could win. It's for the people constantly screeching on Twitter saying Trump can never win. He has no path. Trump just won in a landslide, popular and electoral college, and so that just was a bad take. That's
MAGA's a cult. Trump can't win. You guys are delusional.
Nobody drives voters in the Midwest quite like Donald Trump, baby.
Yep.
And we're never going to have another guy like him.
And we're never going to forget who was a DeSantis person, even as they try to crawl back and go to Mar-a-Lago and be in the Trump team and post themselves in the MAGA hat. I will never forget. We will never forget.
Yeah.
Let's just go through a quick list, too. Mark Cuban, you're going back.
Yeah, you're going back. We don't know where yet, but we're sending you somewhere.
Media's done. Pollsters are done. Actors and Hollywood are done. And then for them, next comes Epstein P. Diddy tapes. And then you guys are really done.
Yeah.
So that's coming. Remember Elon was saying Trump's going to release the Epstein tapes and the Epstein list, P. Diddy list. You guys are done. It's over. Let's get into something more uplifting.
Okay.
What's going to happen?
Yeah.
So I think now that Trump's in office, we have RFK in there, we have Elon helping. We're going to see major improvements in health and wellness, agriculture. There'll be less illegals, less crime, less taxes, less regulation, more freedom in general. But as these improvements happen, we're going to have obviously two groups. We're a very divided country, so we're going to have two groups living in alternative realities simultaneously. For us, the good guys, it'll be the new paradigm. We'll have a golden age coming. We're going to be, we're going to amplify good energy. We're going to resonate up with gratitude, abundance, security, freedom, education, optimism, and accountability. That's going to be the upward resonation of the right wing. While at the same time, the Democrats who are living in alternative reality are going to be in a low, bad energy mindset of fear, uncertainty, insecurity, declining health, paranoia, and victimization.
Yeah, what that mother did to her kids, that's what MSNBC is going to keep doing to their base, right?
Yep. So
anxiety, well, he's taking away your rights, he's doing this, and we're like, we're making people healthy, and we're doing cool shit. Elon's going to Mars. And they're going to be like, no, they're racist or something.
Yeah. So we're going to have two groups. Like, we're going to be resonating up. We're going to be living in the new paradigm. We're going to attract people who see that and want to join that. That's going to be great. So we're going to be resonating up while the other side spirals down into chaos and paranoia.
And my hope is, because Trump in his first administration really did try to be like a unity president, and he tried to kind of make his case to like Jim Acosta yelling questions at him. He'd try to like explain himself a little bit. And my hope is that we just ignore the negative energy, retarded people who aren't there to help, you know?
Yeah.
Just completely ignore those. And I'm obviously more hopeful for his cabinet positions to be filled. Trump, he said it himself on the Joe Rogan podcast, like how crazy it was to be a president-elect and then be like, okay, you have to fill all these cabinet positions within 90 days, right? So he got smoked on that, and now he has a privately funded transition team that's already working. And so hopefully it's just a lot smoother for him. And then he can basically ignore the naysayers and just like move the ball forward, you know?
And he's been preparing that for months.
Yeah.
He's been preparing the transition team, expecting a win, and he has it all planned out. So he's been going hard on that.
Yeah.
So let's get more into what's going to happen. There's going to be less war. Hamas calls for immediate end to war after Trump election win. He didn't even get into office yet.
He's not even in. But Hamas, to be fair, Hamas was probably looking for an out. Hamas goes, all right, Trump's in. We're done.
Let's chill. Everyone chill.
Chill. No more missiles, son.
And then China's playing ball too. Can you read that?
China says it hopes for a peaceful coexistence with the United States. We respect the choice of the American people.
Yep, as
Easy.
he should.
Pretty standard.
And then Putin also is playing nice.
Well, you know, the fact that Mr. Trump, as a presidential candidate, says that he's ready and wants to stop the war in Ukraine, we take that very seriously. Well, I haven't seen his ideas on how exactly he's going to do that, and that is the key question.
So Trump's idea of ending the war in Ukraine, he said he respects that and he wants to hear his idea.
Yeah.
Right? And then with RFK in the cabinet or in the administration, we're going to see a lot of changes to health and wellness, FDA stuff. Can you read the tweet he put out?
The FDA's war on public health is about to end. This includes its aggressive suppression of psychedelics, peptides, stem cells, raw milk, hyperbaric therapies, chelating compounds, ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, vitamins, clean foods, sunshine, exercise, nutraceuticals, and I don't even know that one, RFK. You'll have to teach me. And anything else that advances human health and can't be patented by pharma. If you work for the FDA and are part of this corrupt system, I have two messages for you. One, preserve your records, and two, pack your bags.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
And then he did an interview with Tucker about kind of Trump's plan and how serious Trump is taking all this. Can you let that play?
And I spent 2 days with him recently, and he was saying things that were kind of shocking to me. You know, he was saying things like that, you know, the kind of change, the level of change that he wants to make in our government, I think is going to be unprecedented. And
shocking to you in a good way?
Yeah, in a good way. But just, you know, that it's so impolitic. He's an impolitic guy, and I think he's a guy that does what he wants to do.
Well, can I give you an example?
He wants a revolution, and I think he's going to get one.
That's what you want to hear.
Yeah.
The systems we have in place, the establishment we have in place did not work. It was not working for us. It was working against us. They're actually poisoning us. They're on purpose putting fluoride in the water and dumbing us down, lowering our testosterone. This is what you want to hear. And then there was also a tweet about what RFK is going to do and how it's affecting the CEOs of the big pharma companies.
Sources tell me top 5 CEOs of pharmaceutical companies are holding an emergency teleconference at 1 p.m. A lawyer has confirmed that everyone is in a state of panic.
That's what I like. I like panic. I like when bad guys panic.
Yeah.
Feels good. And then we have a list here Make America Healthy Again Day 1 initiatives. Can you read those?
Glyphosate ban, fluoride removal from water supply, nutrition guidelines revamped, big pharma ad ban, category 2 peptide ban lifted, full access to vaccine data, incandescents legalized, raw milk legalized, seed oil tax.
That's what I like.
Yeah, it's moving quick.
That's what I really like. And then Thomas Massey is potentially going to be the new Secretary of Agriculture.
Yeah.
That's going to be huge. And then can you just read that?
Per his website, Joel Salatin has been contacted and agreed to be one of 6 advisors to the Secretary of Agriculture, who will be Thomas Massey. This is huge. One of the legendary pioneers in the regenerative agriculture movement, working alongside one of the great and true American politicians, Thomas Massey, who also happens to be a longtime farmer in Kentucky. So this guy, if you're interested, like, you can read up on him online. He's like, he's a legend. He's regenerative agriculture. He's all into like sustainable farming and doing it the right way. So
yeah, that's huge. That's something that we thought we never could get because we're so ingrained and the system is so big, and our meat production, our agriculture is all mainlined in a way that's not for our best interest. It's for making money. We're going to be helping the farmers now. Farmers have had it tough. Farmers had it really tough. Like they're suicidal at a really high rate. Like no one really talks about what's going on with the farmers. Now we're looking out for them. And then this girl had a tweet mad that Trump's going to get rid of the Department of Education or do a big revamp. And listen to what she said.
She said, oh, by the way, middle schoolers can't read. High schoolers can't write a proper essay. College students can't differentiate a scholarly based article versus propaganda. And adults can't tell when a picture is AI. But sure, get rid of the Department of Education, LOL.
And that post got deleted because she realized that those were the results of the Department of Education.
Yeah. I wonder why a middle schooler can't read.
It's like, you guys are doing it now. It's been in the works for years. You think what Trump's going to do is going to make middle schoolers not be able to read now?
Yep.
And then when it comes to mass deportations, I'm agreeing with Jeremy Fragrance when it comes to what should be done.
I tell you where you should live. First, you go back where you came from.
Pretty easy.
It's actually not even hard.
And then obviously there are going to be a lot of mass deportations. But this mayor in Massachusetts,
this is the governor
of Massachusetts. She is saying she's going to push back.
If the Trump administration requests it, would the Massachusetts State Police assist in mass deportations?
No, absolutely not. But let me say this. I do think it's important that we all recognize that there's going to be a lot of pressure on states and state officials. And I can assure you, we're going to work really hard to deliver. Some realities also need to be, noted. And that is, in 2016, we had a very different situation in the courts. And while I'm sure there may be litigation ahead, there's a lot of other ways that people are going to act and need to act for the sake of their states and their residents. There's regulatory authority and executive powers and the like. There's legislation also within our states. So I think that the key here is that every tool in the toolbox has got to be used to protect our citizens, to protect our residents, and protect our states, and certainly to hold the line on democracy and the rule of law as a basic principle, right?
That's weird. So she's going to...
She says our citizens and our residents.
Yeah.
And who are those? Why aren't they citizens?
And then that's who you have to protect to push back against Donald Trump. So something will happen where that'll be a little battle between her and Trump, and then Trump, I'm sure, will come over the top and withhold some federal funding or something that the state needs, and then she'll have to play ball or get voted out.
Yeah, it's states' rights to protect our illegals, and it's like, send in federal agents then. Make a new branch of federal agents of all hitters who want to start moving people out. Right?
Bus drivers.
Yeah. Elon, hold the buses, Elon. Those Pennsylvania voter buses, hold.
All right, let's go to some of the accomplishments already before Trump's even gotten into power.
In less than 24 hours, Donald Trump has already ended the Israel-Hamas war. Kind of. Close. It's getting close. Got Putin to discuss peace negotiations, made liberal women go on a sex strike, got Kamala to finally give a coherent speech, Bitcoin hit a new all-time high, stock market is soaring. Great start.
Very great start.
In terms of the international relations stuff, like Hamas being like, okay, we're good, and Putin being like, I'll come to the table, and Xi being like, oh, congratulations. it feels a lot like a classroom after they misbehaved for a substitute teacher for a long time, and then their teacher comes back from like maternity leave or whatever, and it's like, all right, I heard you guys were pieces of shit.
Substitute teacher left a note.
Yeah, substitute teacher left a note, and everyone's misbehaved, and they're all quiet. And, America's back. And the one thing I am surprised about is China never did any Taiwan stuff.
Well, they got a couple months.
Yeah, I guess I'm speaking too soon.
Now's the time.
Yeah.
And then last but not least part of this section, for Trump's presidency, obviously the next 4 years, we're going to get a Trump
semi-quincentennial.
You can read that one.
Semi-quincentennial, so 250th year anniversary of America, which, just say that. A Trump World Cup and a Trump Olympics. Let that sink in.
People think they're so smart with semi-quincentennial.
Yeah, the semi-quincentennial. That sounds like one of those black names, words that could be a black name.
What was the other one? So we have semi-quincentennial.
Debris. And we have nefarious.
Nefarious.
Yeah, so we're creating a list. Semi-quincentennial is the biggest stretch there, but semi-quincentennial, actually. Quincent.
There's a Q.
Yeah.
It's long. All right, so that's the end of that. We're going on to our little uplifting section. First part of uplifting, Target has signs that say Merry Christmas instead of Happy Holidays. The golden era has begun.
Yeah.
I really like this idea of a golden age being ushered in, and then Trump loves gold.
Yeah, and also I think Trump has also mentioned commissioning statues of great American heroes.
Good.
Stuff like that, so.
All of Trump Tower is gold. Mar-a-Lago is all gold. As if he had like a spray can of gold and just sprayed everything. He loves gold. Golden age, Trump, his hair is gold. It really is lining up. Here we have a frat that's celebrating the Trump victory.
Never any doubt, Kamala, you're fired.
They all do the Trump dance? I didn't see that part. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And they all got the fit, and they're all doing the Trump dance. Next is the Harris Walls camo hat. That's a collector's item.
I ordered one as soon as the results were in.
That's a good for the wall.
We're
Scalp.
taking it back. It's a scalp. I'm actually going to wear it. I'm not even going to put it on the wall. I'm going to wear it ironically. It's like, what did Napoleon say? I found a sword in the gutter, and I picked it up.
I found the crown in the gutter.
Yeah, crown in the gutter, yeah. So that's what I'm doing with the Harris Waltz camo hat. It's ours now. You guys took camo. You tried to snake it past us. We're taking it back, and we're humiliating you with it.
Yep. Next, there was a impromptu parade after Trump won in the middle of the night. Love to see it. Look at this. Everyone's happy. And everyone else in their room in a different reality is crying. You have your rights taken away.
Crying, I cut off my dad. My dad's fucked now.
Yep. But in the new paradigm, we celebrate. We're happy. There's abundance. Things are good. Come join our side. You're welcome. In the old paradigm, we're scared. Everyone's going to kill us. We're paranoid. Don't talk to your family. Cut everyone off. You're losing your rights.
And it's crazy because the people who should be scared, criminals, illegal immigrants, drug dealers, people who are pushing things they shouldn't on kids.
Taking EBT when they shouldn't.
All those people should be scared. Yeah. And in my world, that feels good. It's about time the people who should feel feared do, right?
Exactly, bro. Lil Pump had a good point when he was comparing kind of Democrats of 2008 to 2016 versus today.
Yeah.
Can you read what he said?
Yeah, some insight on the parallels between 2016 and 2024 and the rising tensions in the socioeconomic classes. Mm-hmm. He said, Barack Obama did not do shit for this county. Good for Lil Pump.
Thank you, Lil Pump. That is absolutely correct.
Yeah.
And then our last piece of the whole show, some uplifting news that goes for both sides.
Yeah.
Joe Biden can still run again in 2028.
You never know. And that's actually a question, too. I wonder what's Kamala going to do? Is she going to be a try to come back person, or did she get so blown out that there's never coming back and there's no point?
I think she comes back.
The Democrat political class is aging. Very Hillary, all those guys, they're going to be incredibly old by the time it rolls around. The only person who's young enough is Obama, and he'll be turning into like an old head, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. They got some rebuilding to do, and they got some rethinking to do. And I stand firmly by that point that they jumped the gun on that messaging. that kind of like anti-white women and minority talking to them, you could probably get away with that if the country was 60%, if the country was 40% white, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But you jumped the gun way too early and the electorate hadn't changed enough and you hoped you could just sneak it past and you thought maybe you got tricked. Maybe some of you didn't even know that you didn't really get 81 million votes in 2020. Maybe you thought that was real.
That's a good point. Well, that's the end of the episode.
Anything else? Any broad thoughts? Feels good, guys.
We did it.
That wasn't a very funny episode. It's kind of like we rattled off a lot of the shit.
I had fun.
But it's a victory, you know? Like, it's a great victory.
Yeah. And if you're still watching and you want normal show without the politics or some of the cringe and urban and whatever, Bonus Land right now, FleccasTalks.com. Hey, we won the election. Just sign up for Bonus Land. If you're watching at this point, just sign up for Bonus Land.
The people who never wavered and always supported Trump and always believed, there's a special place in America for them.
Yeah, we did it, guys. Everything is good. We're in the new paradigm. It's a Renaissance golden age, and it's all because of you.
The libs are crying, guys. The libs are crying. They're cutting off family members. They're weakening their own support systems. They don't even know what they've done yet.
That's so good. Well, another Fleccas Talks in the books. Thank you guys for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. Have a nice weekend. We'll see you in Bonus Land, and then we'll see you on Tuesday.
Harris did not win.
You won.